Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin lillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala. قال المؤلف رحمه الله ومن الدليل على كفر أهل الكتاب, and among the evidence for the blasphemy of the people of the book is قوله تعالى, his saying, exalted is he, إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين في نار جهنم خالدين فيها أولئك هم شر البرية. Which means, certainly those who blaspheme, whether from the people of the book or the mushriks, the pagans, polytheists, they are in the fire of the pit. Khalidina fiha, they're in forever, staying in there forever. They are the worst of the creation. So here in this ayah, Inna alladhina kafaru min. Shaykh will explain what is min. I will translate the Shaykh's words when I come to it, but as far as the translation that I gave you, I said whether. So this min that the Shaykh is going to explain, which min is this? I found that it translates as whether consistently, whether this or that. So إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين, certainly those who commit kufr, whether the people of the book or the pagans, what about them? في نار جهنم, they are in the fire of the pit. So Jahannam is from Jihnam, Al-Jihnam, the deep well. So hellfire is named after that. It's called Jahannam. That's one of its names. So that's why I said the pit. في نار جهنم خالدين فيها. But I think it pretty much translates as hell. It means hell. But there's names for hell, and each one of those names has its own perspective. So hell is called Saqar, it's called Jahannam. Saqar, I don't know how to translate it except as hell. I don't even know what Sin Qaf Ra means here. Jahannam, it means hell, but it's called that because of its being a deep pit. It's called As-Sa'ir. Sa'ir means inferno because Sa'ir is fire upon fire. It's called Al-Hawiyah, the abyss, because it's like a deep abyss, the thing you fall into. So, في نار جهنم خالدين فيها, they are in the fire of the pit, but I would put, if I were to use the word pit, I would put it with a capital P. Khalidina fiha, staying in there forever, dwelling in there forever. Ulaika hum sharrul bariyah. Those, they are the worst of the creation. Ay sharrul khalq, meaning the worst of creation. Al-bariyah is al-khalq. Allah is al-bari. Al-bari is al-khaliq. One of his names is al-bari. So he is al-bari, and we are the bari'ah, or the bariyah. He is al-khaliq, and we are the khalq, or the makhluq. وبعض الناس الجهال يقولون القرآن يقول من أهل الكتاب. And some of the ignorant people, they say, well, the Quran only says from the people of the book, because they don't know what all the different meanings that min can have. معناه ليسوا كلهم كفارا. Its meaning is that Not all of them are kuffar. وهذا جهل باللغة. This is ignorance of the language. لأن من هذه بيانية وليست للتبعيض. Because this is the min, the clarifying min. It's not min which is for tab'id. Tab'id means portioning, segmenting, making into ba'd, into some, into parts. So they think it means those who commit kufr from the people of the book, yani those among the people of the book who do commit kufr as opposed to those who don't. That's what they think it means. While it means those who commit kufr, whether they were the people of the book or they were other than the people of the book. معناه الكفار إن كانوا من أهل الكتاب وإن كانوا مشركين من غير أهل الكتاب هم شر الخلق. Its meaning is that the blasphemers, if they were among the people of the book, and if they were from the pagans or polytheists, not from the people of the book, they are all the worst of creation. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, the author, may Allah have mercy on him, said, فهذه الآية صريحة في تكفير من لم يؤمن بمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. So this verse is explicit in deeming as a kafir, blasphemer, disbeliever, whoever does not believe in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فمن, which ayah is that? وَمَنْ لَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَإِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَعِيرًا. That's the ayah he's talking about, not the ayah we just read, because this is a continuation of the text, right? So the previous text, قال المؤلف رحمه الله ومن لم يؤمن بالله ورسوله فإنا أعتدنا للكافرين سعيرا. Whoever does not believe in Allah and His Messenger, then we have prepared for the disbelievers an inferno. وَمَنْ نَازَعَ فِي هَذَا الْمَوْضُوعِ يَكُونُ قَدْ عَانَدَ الْقُرْآنِ. Whoever disputes in this subject, then he would be stubbornly opposing the Quran. وَمَنْ عَانَدَ الْقُرْآنَ كَفَرْ. And whoever stubbornly opposes the Quran blasphemes. الشرح أن من خالف في هذا الموضوع فأنكر الإيمان بمحمد فهو كافر. The explanation is that whoever opposes in this subject and denies, and thus denies the faith in Muhammad, then he is a blasphemer. فمن ظن أن الإنسان يكون مؤمنا من أهل الجنة من غير إيمان. So whoever believes that a person would be a believer among the people of paradise without faith in من غير إيمان بمحمد, without faith in Muhammad, فهو كافر, then he's a blasphemer. كما أنه من كان في زمان عيسى أو زمان موسى أو غيرهما من الأنبياء. Just like if someone was in the time of Jesus or someone was in the time of Moses or other than those two among the prophets, إذا كذب أحدا منهم واعترف بوجود الله. If someone belied one of them while confessing to the existence of Allah, وَلَمْ يَعْبُدْ غَيْرَهُ, and he didn't worship someone other than Allah, فَهُوَ كَافِرٌ. He's still a blasphemer. لِأَنَّ اللَّهَ أَرْسَلَ هَؤُلَاءِ لِيُصَدَّقُوا, because Allah sent them to be believed. وَيُتَّبَعُوا, and so that they would be followed. فَتَكْذِيبُهُمْ تَكْذِيبٌ لِلَّهِ. So belying them is belying Allah. Yeah, and that was the case of the Yahud at the time of Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Idol worship had gotten into the Yahud before that, but there were muwahidun among them, monotheists. So there were monotheists among the Yahud believing in Musa, believing in the Anbiya, and then when Isa came, alayhi salatu wassalam, they denied him and his message without abandoning their monotheism. So they became kuffar. Wal-'iyadhu billahi ta'ala. Imagine that. You'd be a muwahhid believing in Allah and then you disbelieve in his prophet. You waste that and disbelieve in his prophet. Quick note for you. The muwahhid is the monotheist. Doesn't mean he's a Muslim. Every Muslim is a muwahhid, but not every muwahhid is a Muslim. So then every mu'min is a muwahhid, but not every muwahhid is a mu'min also. Because every Muslim is a mu'min and every mu'min is a Muslim. So then what's the difference? The difference is that the muwahhid is the one who deems God one. And for us, that means he believes that God is not like the creation. Doesn't just mean he believes in one body in the sky. That's shirk. That's not tawheed. So tawheed, a person can be a true muwahhid by believing that Allah exists with no place, no direction, no description. So what's the proof for this kalam? Allah says, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. It means indeed, or not indeed, but merely, or rather, so it's a word of restriction. A word of restriction, a word of limitation. Innama is for limitation. Hasr, restriction. This is in Surah Al-Hujurat. Innama al-mu'minuna alladhina amanu billahi wa rasulihi. Which means merely the believers are those who believe in Allah and His Messenger. Or only the believers are those who believe in Allah and His Messenger. ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا, and then they don't doubt. So from there we distinguish between the muwahhid and the mu'min. And we do not distinguish between the mu'min and the Muslim. So we also distinguish between the muwahhid and the Muslim. قال المؤلف رحمه الله, the author, may Allah have mercy on him, said, وَأَجْمَعَ الْفُقَهَاءُ الْإِسْلَامِيُّونَ عَلَى تَكْفِيرِ مَنْ دَانَ بِغَيْرِ الْإِسْلَامِ. And the Islamic scholars or the Islamic jurists, they have a consensus about the deeming a blasphemer or charging with blasphemy whoever takes a religion other than Islam or whoever practices other than Islam. وَعَلَى تَكْفِيرِ مَنْ لَمْ يُكَفِّرْهُ. And also they have a consensus about charging with blasphemy who does not charge him with blasphemy. أو شك أو توقف, or whoever was doubtful about that, or whoever was neutral. كأن يقول أنا لا أقول إنه كافر أو غير كافر, like for him to say, I don't say he's a kafir and I don't say he's not a kafir. That's kufr. That's because you have two destinations, belief and kufr. And for these two destinations, there are four pathways. There are four pathways that lead to these two destinations, and three of them are kufr. Three of them lead to kufr, one of them leads to belief. So you have denial. Denial leads to kufr. You have neutrality, not taking a side at all. That leads to kufr. You have doubt, so you're just not sure. That leads to kufr, and the only thing left is certainty, and that's the only one that leads to belief. Ash-SharH, the explanation. أن من اتخذ لنفسه دينا غير دين الإسلام فهو كافر. Whoever takes for himself a religion other than the religion of Islam is a blasphemer. وَمَنْ تَرَدَّدَ فِي تَكْفِيرِهِ, and whoever is hesitant about charging him with blasphemy, أي في تكفير من لم يدين بالإسلام, meaning charging with blasphemy who does not practice Islam as religion, بل يدين بغيره, rather he practices another religion, من يهودية أو مجوسية, whether it was Judaism or Majus religion, أو غير ذلك يكفر, or other than that, then he blasphemes. فالذي يقول لعله كافر ولعله غير كافر يكفر. So whoever says maybe he's a kafir, maybe he's not a kafir, then he commits kufr. Whoever says maybe he's a blasphemer, maybe he's not a blasphemer, blasphemes. وَلَوْ كَانَ هَذَا الشَّخْصُ مِمَّنْ يَدَّعِي الْإِسْلَامَ لَفْظًا. Even if this person was among those who claim Islam verbally. بل ولو اعتقد هذا الشخص وظن أنه مسلم. In fact, even if this person believed and thought that he was a Muslim, فإنكار كفره والتردد في كفره كفر. قال المؤلف رحمه الله: واعلم باستيقان أنه لا يصح الإيمان والإسلام ولا تقبل الأعمال الصالحة بدون الشهادتين. The author, may Allah have mercy on him, said, know with certainty that faith is not valid, nor is Islam, and the good deeds are not accepted without the Shahadatain. بلفظ أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. According to the expression, this expression that I just read to you, أو ما في معناهما, or what has its meaning, such as translating it, that no one is God but Allah and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, or using alternative words like لا رب إلا الله محمد نبي الله, or لا خالق إلا الله أبو القاسم رسول الله, or رضيت بالله ربا وبمحمد نبيا. ولو بغير اللغة العربية, even if it's in other than the Arabic language. What did Balqis say? She said, أسلمت مع سليمان لرب العالمين. That sounds very close to the Shahada, doesn't it? If you think about that. Because she's saying, I believe in Allah and I believe in His Prophet. And I embrace Islam. Yeah, we did learn that she took her Shahada. That's not what the question is. وَيَكْفِي لِصِحَّةِ الْإِسْلَامِ النُّطُقُ مَرَّةً فِي الْعُمُرِ. And sufficient for the validity of Islam is pronouncing the Shahada once in a lifetime. وَيَبْقَى وُجُوبُهَا فِي كُلِّ صَلَاةٍ لِصِحَّةِ الصَّلَاةِ. And its obligation remains for every prayer, for the validity of the prayer. يعني, according to some imams. هذا في من كان على غير الإسلام. This is in reference to whoever was upon other than Islam. ثم أراد الدخول في الإسلام. And then he wanted to enter into Islam. الشرح قوله واعلم باستيقان أي جازما بلا شك. The explanation is that his saying know with istiqan means know definitively without doubt. Know with certainty means know definitively without doubt. أنه لا يصح الإيمان والإسلام ولا تقبل الأعمال الصالحة بدون النطق بالشهادتين. That invalid are Iman, faith, and Islam, and unaccepted are the good deeds without the pronunciation of the two shahadas. بلفظ أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. By the expression, this expression that I just said to you. ولا يشترط خصوص هذا اللفظ. And this expression in particular is not a condition. بل يكفي ما يعطي معناهما. Rather, sufficient is what gives its meaning. كقول لا رب إلا الله محمد نبي الله. Like saying, there's no Lord but Allah and Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah. وكذلك لو نطق بما يعطي معناهما بغير اللغة العربية. And likewise, whatever gives its meaning in other than the Arabic language. وهذا النطق يكفي مرة واحدة في العمر لصحة الإسلام. And this pronunciation or utterance is sufficient once in a lifetime for the validity of Islam. هذا في من كان على غير الإسلام. This is in reference to who was upon other than Islam. ثم أراد الدخول في الإسلام. And then he wanted to enter into Islam. وبعد تلك المرة يبقى وجوبها في كل صلاة لصحة الصلاة. Then after that time, which was the time pronouncing the Shahada for embracing Islam, there still remains the obligation of pronouncing the Shahada for every prayer for the validity of the prayer, according to some. ثم إن الأعمال الصالحة لا تكون مقبولة عند الله بدون الإيمان. Furthermore, the good deeds will not be accepted to Allah without faith, meaning to Allah they are unacceptable. وَالدَّلِيلُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى. And the evidence for that is his saying, exalted is he, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِنَ الصَّالِحَاتِ مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَأُولَئِكَ يَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ وَلَا يُظْلَمُونَ نَقِيرًا. Which means, and whoever does good deeds, whether male or female, while being a believer. This wow here, I think we mentioned before. This wow here is called wawul hal. So it's going to translate as while. So if you come across a wow and it translates as while, then it's probably, if the word while fits in your translation, it's probably wawul hal. Just like when you come across the word min, if you can translate it decently as weather, then that's probably min al-bayaniyah. وَلَا يُظْلَمُونَ نَقِيرًا. And they will not be wronged the amount of a naqir. A naqir is very, very, very small hole in the date pit, like a micro dot almost. Maybe it's bigger than a micro dot, but it's very small. قال المؤلف رحمه الله. The author said, may Allah have mercy on him, وَأَمَّا مَنْ نَشَأَ عَلَى الْإِسْلَامِ. As for who grew up on Islam, وَكَانَ يَعْتَقِدُ الشَّهَادَتَيْن, and he used to believe in the Shahadatain, فَلَا يُشْتَرَطُ فِي حَقِّهِ النُّطْقُ بِهِمَا. Then unconditional in reference to him is pronouncing the Shahadas. Yani he doesn't have to. بَلْ هُوَ مُسْلِمٌ لَوْ لَمْ يَنْطِقُ. Rather, he is a Muslim even if he does not pronounce. Ash-SharH أن من نشأ على الإسلام بين أبوين مسلمين ما دام اعتقاده على معنى الشهادتين فهو مسلم مؤمن. The explanation is that whoever was raised on Islam between two Muslim parents, as long as his conviction, as long as he had the belief in the meaning of the two shahadas, then he's a Muslim, a believing Muslim. وَلَوْ لَمْ يَنْطِقُ. Even if he doesn't pronounce them with his tongue until he dies. لَكِنَّهُ يَكُونُ عَاصِيًا مُرْتَكِبًا لِلْكَبِيرَةِ. However, he would be sinful and a committer of a major sin. لِأَنَّهُ لَمْ يَنْطِقُ بِهِمَا بَعْدَ الْبُلُوغِ. Because he did not utter his shahada, he didn't utter the shahada after puberty. Now, for your information, when the child comes out of his parent, he doesn't believe in anything because he doesn't know anything. He doesn't even know who his parent is. So, how do we judge him? And he doesn't have any conviction at the moment. We judge him bit-tabi'iyah. That means by following. There might be a better word, but it basically means by following. So then the scholars differed. So who does he follow then? Does he follow the mother? Does he follow the father? Some said the child follows the religion of the mother, period. Not the father. Some said the child follows the religion of the father, period, not the mother. What we learned is a different saying, a third saying, which is whichever one is a Muslim. And the evidence that we learned for this saying is the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, al-Islamu ya'la wa la yu'la, which means Islam dominates and is not dominated. And from this hadith come many rules by which the Muslim is given advantage, and Islam is given advantage and priority. This hadith is evidence for many cases of the Muslims and Islam being given priority and advantage, etc.